50 Cent was reportedly robbed and beaten after leaking a new part of his upcoming documentary. But what's really shocking is who might be behind it. According to early reports, a group of individuals showed up at his home allegedly trying to kidnap or intimidate him into pulling the documentary. And some are claiming they were sent and paid by other rappers. This has stunned the entire industry, raising serious questions about what these artists might be trying to hide and just how explosive 50 Cent's documentary really is. In this video, we're going to break down the leaked clips, show exclusive footage from the incident, and reveal what actually happened that night. If you know anything about 50 Cent, you know this is a man who has been on both the giving and receiving end of violence for over 2 decades. He does not run from conflict. He runs toward it. So, when a headline says 50 Cent just got robbed and beaten, a lot of people believe it immediately because this man's track record makes it sound normal for his life. Let's go back. In the year 2000, Darryl Baum was allegedly the man who shot 50 Cent 9 times. None of the 9 bullets touched a vital part of 50's body, allowing him to survive after extensive medical care. That event is one of the most well-known moments in hip-hop history. It made 50 Cent a legend before he ever became a mainstream artist. The shooting was allegedly connected to his beef with Supreme McGriff, a notorious figure from Queens. According to claims at the time, Supreme put a bounty on 50 Cent's life. 50 survived. He recovered and then he turned the whole thing into fuel. The power star recounted his life story in his 2005 biopic aptly titled Get Rich or Die Trying. But violence around 50 didn't just stop there. In 2014 at the Hot 97 Summer Jam concert, 50 Cent and G-Unit were accused of having MC Slow of Slowbucks beaten and robbed in front of 80,000 people. What allegedly happened was that members of Slowbucks' crew were on or near the stage while G-Unit was performing. According to All Hip Hop, members of Slowbucks were assaulted and had their chains snatched. Video showed a group of men kicking and punching a man on the ground. The alleged reason: the Slowbucks crew had posed for a photo with 50's rivals and his estranged son Marquise, then posted it on Instagram. At the time, 50 posted this picture was a bad idea. Then in 2015, a jeweler named Robert Morin claimed that he was victimized by 50's crew. 50 Cent was in the middle of a criminal investigation after a jeweler claimed the rapper's men put a gun to his head and stole $250,000 worth of jewelry. Robert Morin, owner of LAX Jewelry Company, said he went to Las Vegas to sell 50 Cent a watch and chain worth $250,000. According to Morin, after staying at the club until early Saturday morning, 50's crew invited him to see Floyd Mayweather's gym. He claims that once he arrived, 2 of the rapper's crew members pistol whipped him, stole the pieces, and fled the scene. 50 Cent's lawyer denied everything. The attorney called the allegations baseless and false, and ultimately, police said 50 Cent wasn't a suspect in the investigation. Then in 2024, 50 Cent was robbed again, this time by hackers. 50 Cent claimed he was robbed of $300 million in crypto by hackers via his X account in just 30 minutes. His website and X account were hacked so that it appeared he was advertising a company called Unit Cryptocurrency without his knowledge or permission. 50 addressed it on Instagram writing, "My Twitter and this ISS.com was hacked and I have no association with this crypto." He added, "Twitter worked quickly to lock my account back down." Authorities later clarified that the hackers actually received about $3 million US in crypto when converted to stock. So, here's the pattern. This man has been shot, has been at the center of unstage beatdowns, has had jewelry robbery claims connected to his name, and has been hacked for millions. When people see a headline that says 50 Cent got robbed and beaten, they click on it. Because in 50's world, none of that sounds unreasonable. But let's look at what's actually happening right now in 2026. To understand the current situation, you have to understand what 50 Cent has become in the entertainment industry. He is not just a rapper anymore. He's a television mogul. He is the executive producer behind some of the most talked about content on television, and in the last year he has pivoted hard into the documentary space. In December 2025, 50 Cent unleashed his biggest documentary project to date, Sean Combs: The Reckoning, an American television documentary miniseries about the sexual misconduct allegations against rapper Sean Diddy Combs, directed by Alexandria Stapleton. The series was released on Netflix on December 2, 2025. 50 himself talked about the project, saying, "I've been committed to real storytelling for years through G-Unit film and television. I'm grateful to everyone who came forward and trusted us with their stories. The documentary was a massive hit. In the 6 days after its release, the series was viewed 21.8 million times, making it the second most viewed Netflix title during the week of December 1st to 8th, 2025 after Volume 1 of the 5th season of Stranger Things. Critics gave it strong reviews with 90% of 10 critics' reviews on Rotten Tomatoes being positive, with the consensus reading meticulous and sober rather than sensational. But the documentary also triggered a massive response. There were questions about how 50 Cent obtained certain footage. When asked by NBC News correspondent Chloe Mellies about how he got hotel room footage included in the documentary, Jackson said, "I figured most journalists would not disclose their sources." The documentary wasn't just a cultural moment. It was a blueprint. It showed 50 Cent and the entire industry that he could take personal feuds and turn them into content that gets tens of millions of views. And he didn't stop there. In January 2026, Curtis 50 Cent Jackson kicked off the new year collaborating with A&E for a true crime series titled Gang Wars. The rapper-producer confirmed the news on Instagram, writing, "Gang Wars coming soon. I got some heat." Deadline described the series as an unfiltered look into America's most infamous gang rivalries with unprecedented access and never-before-heard accounts. Then, in February 2026, 50 Cent teased a new Netflix documentary after Jay-Z was mentioned in the latest batch of Jeffrey Epstein files released by the Department of Justice. Now, it's important to note that Jay-Z's name, as well as those of Pusha T and Harvey Weinstein, didn't come from Epstein's personal records nor reports corroborated by law enforcement. They were named in an unverified tip to the FBI, archived as part of the investigation. The tip doesn't imply they were investigated and doesn't imply guilt. But 50 Cent saw an opportunity and he seized it. This is who 50 Cent is in 2026. He is a walking documentary factory. Every feud, every piece of controversy, every headline, he sees it as potential content. And that brings us to the real story, the one that has people saying he got robbed and beaten. The current beef between 50 Cent and T.I. is the context for everything, and it started with something that should have been a celebration. The spark that lit this wildfire was a versus battle that never happened. T.I. revealed on the $1 Million Worth of Game podcast hosted by Gilly Da Kid and Wallow that he and 50 Cent had been in talks to face each other in a versus battle, a side-by-side catalog showdown. According to T.I., the two were aligned and excited about celebrating their catalogs together. Then, without explanation, 50 Cent backed out. T.I. described the situation on the podcast. He explained, "I said, what do you think about this?" He was like, "You want to do that, S?" I said, "Yeah." He was like, "All right, cool." I told him, "I'ma jump out there first and then you just go jump out there and we'll line it up." He said, "All right." When I jumped out, that N*** acted like he ain't know what the F** going on. That embarrassment of being left hanging publicly is what sent T.I. over the edge. And rather than just talk about it, he decided to go to the studio. T.I. released 4 diss tracks: War, The Right One, Lessons, and What Bully, while his sons King Harris and Domini Harris also jumped in. The beef between these two was not new. It first began way back in 2006 when both rappers were debatably at their peak. While it never kicked off, there were definite signs of them not liking each other. 50 was the star of G-Unit, and T.I. was the self-proclaimed king of the South. The tension began to appear in a competitive way with sneak disses. But in 2026, it erupted. The long-simmering rivalry between the New York rap icon and Atlanta's self-proclaimed king of the South erupted into rap's biggest beef of 2026. What started as a failed versus battle proposal spiraled into a full-scale war of diss tracks, family involvement, and social media chaos. 50 Cent, rather than responding with music, did what he always does. He trolled. Fifth flooded social media with jokes, memes, and pointed posts aimed at T.I. and his family, particularly targeting his wife, Tamika Tiny Harris, and son, King Harris. 50 Cent posted an unflattering photo of Tiny Harris on social media during his ongoing feud with her husband, T.I. He captioned it with a remark telling T.I. to keep his name out of his mouth, which many people saw as mocking or disrespectful toward Tiny. When T.I. spoke to TMZ about the whole thing, he was measured. He said, "Man, that S*** last week, man. The only thing I have to say, it's very unfortunate, but honestly, I wasn't here to defeat, I was here to defend. Meanwhile, T.I.'s retirement album, Kill the King, was getting a lot of attention. Let Him Know became one of the early hits of 2026. The song, part of T.I.'s retirement album, Kill the King, was reportedly #1 in urban radio and on several charts, and DJ academics had drawn direct comparisons to the Drake vs. Kendrick Lamar beef, cementing this as one of the defining rivalries of 2026. But things got really personal when the children got involved. This is where the robbed and beaten part of the story starts to become clear. Because while 50 Cent was not physically attacked in the way a headline might suggest, what T.I.'s sons did to him on wax was something 50 Cent had never experienced before. He got tag-teamed by an entire family. Two of Tip's kids dropped diss records toward 50 Cent. One is Domani, who dropped a song called Ms. Jackson. On the song, which starts off with a sample of Outkast's popular 2000 hit of the same name, the 24-year-old rapper pens a letter to Fifth's late mother, Sabrina Jackson, who died in a fire when the G-Unit head honcho was 8. And then King Harris dropped his own song and video, which features him wearing a t-shirt that features the face of 50's mother. Let's talk about that for a moment. 50 Cent's mother, Sabrina Jackson, died in a house fire when he was 8 years old. That is one of the defining traumas of his life, and T.I.'s sons went directly at that subject. When 50 Cent posted unflattering images of Tiny Harris, the Harris household hit back hard. King Harris responded by wearing a t-shirt bearing the image of 50 Cent's late mother, Sabrina Jackson, who passed away in an apartment fire when 50 was just 8 years old. King Harris didn't stop with just one track. As the beef between Fifth and their dad continued, Domani and King Harris struck back with another pair of diss tracks. On Friday, March 6th, King Harris shared a new song called Drop Top. King wrote on Instagram, "Hudda got day MS Jackson OG packs out here, F of 50 and this MF blowing GG." King also shared footage of his dad with 50 Cent's ex Daphne Joy and brought up the violent allegations she made against him. Domani also mentioned the allegations in his latest diss track. He dropped his song Pewee with a photo that appears to have Joy's past claims. He also mentions Joy in his song and alludes to 50 Cent's criticism of her. King Harris also dropped paperwork alleging that 50 Cent snitched on Jimmy Henchman. In the world of hip-hop, an accusation like that, snitching, is one of the most damaging claims you can make. King Harris wasn't just dissing 50 Cent. He was trying to dismantle his entire reputation. And Rick Ross jumped in too. Rick Ross, who's also not a fan of 50 Cent, hopped in the comments and wrote, "Need that T and a 3x la bro." That's Rick Ross co-signing King Harris's attacks on 50 Cent. Now, through all of this, 50 doesn't seem to be too worried about the songs. He's been on Instagram bigging up his achievements in the TV world. So far, 50 Cent has not responded with music. His approach has been entirely social media based, posting memes, jokes, and targeted images aimed at T.I. and his family. T.I. himself addressed his son's involvement on the Angela Yee show. The Atlanta rapper reiterated that he didn't need a beef with 50 to boost awareness for his hit single, Let Him Know. However, when asked if he was a fan of his sons King and Domani jumping in the beef, Tip said he gained zero enjoyment out of it. So, the robbed and beaten framing isn't about a physical attack. It's about what's happening to 50 Cent culturally. He has 4 diss tracks from T.I. He has diss tracks from King Harris and Domani. He has Rick Ross co-signing. He has people bringing up his late mother, his ex-girlfriend's allegations, and snitching paperwork. All of this is happening, and he hasn't responded with a single bar of music. In the eyes of many hip-hop fans, that's getting robbed. Robbed of your credibility as a rapper, beaten in the court of public opinion by a whole family. But here is where the story really takes a turn. Because 50 Cent didn't respond with music. He responded with something far more dangerous. On March 5, 2026, 50 Cent dropped what many considered to be his real response. Not a diss track, not a freestyle, a documentary threat. On Thursday, March 5, 2026, 50 Cent added fuel to the rumors with a now-deleted Instagram post. The post included a screenshot of a headline that read 50 Cent reportedly developing Surviving T.I. and Tiny documentary, which many fans took as confirmation that something is in the works. In the caption, 50 wrote words that sent the internet into a frenzy. "Remember how quiet I got before the Diddy doc?" 50 Cent wrote, "Dame thought I wasn't coming. I hope this doesn't mess up your promo tour. They're going to ask about your 20 sexual assault cases. You might want to talk to a crisis PR person. That is a threat, a direct one. And given what 50 Cent just did with his Netflix documentary, the one that got over 21 million views in its first week, the threat carries real weight. The rumored documentary would reportedly deal with allegations that have followed T.I. and Tiny for years. In January 2021, an Atlanta entrepreneur named Sabrina Peterson publicly accused T.I. of holding a gun to her head. This single accusation acted as a catalyst, opening a floodgate. Dozens of women began coming forward with stories alleging a system where T.I. and Tiny would invite women to VIP sections or hotel suites, provide them with drinks spiked with substances, and assault them. However, despite the volume of these accusations, the legal outcomes heavily favored the Harris family. Criminal investigations were opened in Los Angeles and Las Vegas, but no criminal charges were ever formally filed, largely because the statute of limitations had already expired. The rumor about the documentary originally came from blogger Tasha K. Tasha K took to Twitter on Saturday, February 28 to claim that she spoke to alleged sources reportedly connected to the G-Unit Moguls team. The blogger alleged that he's working on a documentary about the Georgia couple and their alleged drugging and assault accusations. Of course, this doesn't have any official confirmation from either side. And here's the thing about Tasha K as a source. It's important to note Tasha K's past trouble with online claims. She lost a defamation suit from Cardi B. But whether the documentary is real or not almost doesn't matter. 50 Cent understands that in the modern era of instant viral media, the sheer threat of an exposing documentary often hits significantly harder than the actual project itself. By weaponizing a deleted Instagram post, 50 Cent managed to force T.I. onto the defensive, drag his past traumas back into the mainstream headlines, and control the entire hip-hop narrative without having to spend a single dollar on production. And 50 wasn't done. In another comment he posted, Fifth wrote, "New music today." It's more than likely his trolling, but it could be a sign that 50 Cent may drop a response to T.I. and his son's diss tracks. As of March 2026, there is no verified production schedule, network deal, or actual footage to confirm that surviving T.I. and Tiny even exists. But that's the genius of what 50 Cent does. He deleted the post. He left the question mark. And now every interview T.I. does for his album, every press run, every podcast, someone is going to ask about those allegations. While this could all be 50 Cent just blowing smoke and trolling, these are big words coming from a person who just participated in a documentary against someone he doesn't care for. So now, let's bring this full circle. Did 50 Cent get robbed and beaten in 2026? Not physically, no. There is no verified report of 50 Cent being physically robbed or attacked in connection to his documentary work or his current beefs. But what happened to him in the public sphere of hip-hop is something that would qualify as a beating by any cultural measure. T.I. dropped 4 diss tracks on him. King Harris dropped multiple records bringing up his dead mother. Domani dissected his personal life on record. Rick Ross co-signed the attacks. People dropped alleged snitching paperwork. And 50 Cent, the man who built his career on destroying enemies with music, didn't respond with a single bar. Instead, he used the one weapon that no one else in hip-hop has, the ability to turn your darkest moments into a 4-part Netflix documentary. And with the surviving T.I. and Tiny threat hanging over the Harris family's head, the question isn't whether 50 Cent got robbed and beaten. The question is whether T.I. and his family just made the biggest mistake of their careers by giving 50 Cent a reason to start filming. For now, the rap battle may not be happening, but the drama between the two stars is still very much alive. And if 50 Cent really is working on a surviving T.I. and Tiny documentary, this feud might soon move from Instagram and diss tracks to the small screen. And knowing 50 Cent's track record with the Netflix documentary, with the A&E Gang Wars series, with the Epstein teasers, nobody should be surprised if he actually follows through. Because if there's one thing 50 Cent has proven over and over again, it's this. He doesn't fight you where you want to fight. He fights you where you can't defend yourself. T.I. wanted a rap battle. 50 Cent gave him a documentary scare. The Harris family dropped diss tracks. 50 Cent posted screenshots of headlines about sexual assault allegations. That's the fight. And right now, nobody knows who's winning, but everybody is watching. And for 50 Cent, that's always been the entire point.